Alright, on this episode of Kelly's Life, we're doing some jumbo burgundy butt length knotless braids. So I'm going to try to go into detail a little bit more than I did in my last video, more so about like the parting, how you get like, you know, straighter parts. I'm still no professional, but I still get pretty good results. I want to talk about parting the hair, because since you're doing jumbo braids and your parts are going to be like right in your face, you definitely have to, you know, take some time with your parts. Now, what helps you with your parts is going to be braid gel. I've been working on my braid gel for about a year. I've been talking about this in the past, I want to say 2 videos that I've posted, and it's finally here. I have my braid gel. And I'm so excited because I did work on this braid gel for a very long time. If you don't know me, my name is Kelly Logan, and I have a whole line of natural hair care products, and now it includes this braiding gel, which, like I said, I've been working on for a year. And I do braid my hair, and I know how these products are supposed to perform. So I didn't want to release my braid gel until I felt that it could outperform my biggest competition. And I asked all of my braider friends, like, what braid gel do you prefer? And that is the braid gel that I started using, and then I made something that was better. Now, I did 2 parts already in the back, and I'm gonna turn around so that you can see it. All right, so what I'm gonna be doing is like the brick method of parting. And what that is that each braid that you do, the braid above it is not going to fall right on top of it. It's going to kind of fall in the middle of the 2 braids below it. And if that didn't make sense for me to say it, I'm also going to show you. But you don't want your braids to be laying like right on top of each other. So you want to strategically part your hair. It does help if you pre-section your hair, but I've done this enough times to the point where I really don't have to pre-part my hair. But it does help if you do that, so that you know how your braids are gonna lay. So in order to get nice, clean parts, what I do is I go through and I do my initial part. And then I don't know if you've ever seen someone do this, but I put a little bit of braid gel, like I take a little lump of it and I put it across the part. And I spread it so that I flatten out the hair on each side of the part. And what that does is it really gives you a good view of your part, because sometimes it can be a little your parts can misrepresent themselves. Like sometimes your part will look straight, but then once you start braiding, you realize the part is actually not straight. So when you put that braiding gel on there and you flatten out each side, it really gives you another perspective, and it gives you a clear view of your part. So that's very important to do. Now, once I do the initial part, put the braid gel on there, then I go through and I refine my part for any small, you know, imperfection.
Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm splitting my pieces of hair up so that I can feed them in gradually as I do my braid. That's the difference in knotless braids and the traditional box braids. You feed the hair in gradually rather than putting all of the hair initially. So I'm going to separate my hair so that I don't have to stop and try to separate my pieces. Next, I'm going to add my braiding gel to the section to be braided. And the good thing about this braiding gel is not like a traditional gel where you apply it to your hair and your curls kind of spring up. This one's made specifically for like braids and locks so that it can like mold your hair. So I apply some of it to a section of my hair and then comb it through. And that's going to make it a lot easier to blend your natural hair with the braiding hair. Otherwise, if you try to braid your hair in the state that it's at, you're going to get a lot of frizz and a lot of inconsistency in your braid, and it's just not going to have that professional finish. So I really love that about this braiding gel, and it really helps people that are not professionals. All right, so the next thing that you're going to have to figure out is how much hair you want to add to each braid. And that's going to boil down to preference as far as how full you want your hair to look. So you're just going to have to use trial and error and figure out how much hair you like. But I will say that I add the bulk of the hair to the top of the braid in small sections. And once I get it to a density that I like, I continue to braid until I get to the end of my natural hair. And then I add another piece so that you don't have that big transition from thick to thin where your hair ends. After that, I add 2 small pieces around the middle of the braid, down the middle of the braid, so that I can extend the hair, because I got 50-inch hair, but I wanted the hair to be a little bit longer, so I add 2 pieces of hair just to extend the braid a little bit. So once all of your sections are in the braid, a good way to make sure that you maintain that consistency as you go down the braid is to pull the braid down as you're braiding it. So you want to try not to let the braids kind of overlap each other, and you want to make sure that you have some tension. You want to be pulling down on the braid so that the braid is consistent all the way down. Now, of course, when you're braiding your hair, you have to pull the braid kind of in front of you, but you want to try to braid down as far as you can on the braid without having to pull the braid in front of you, because that's when your braid is going to start to like twist and turn, and your braids are going to be the braid is going to be going in like 2 different directions. So try your best to just keep your braid in one position the entire way down.